A developing story in Cobb County tonight.
That's where investigators say a man and a child were shot in a parking lot outside of Cumberland Mall.
News Edge reporter Denise Dillon joins us live with the latest details. Denise.
Yeah, the shooting happened right in front of these restaurants here at Cumberland Mall. I talked to a couple of people who were eating dinner at the time they heard the shots. They looked out and saw people running for cover.
Like, it was just like a very chaotic moment.
I saw somebody hit the ground, people running.
There were people running and zooming and everything.
And they closed the shutters in the restaurant.
A shootout in the parking lot of Cumberland Mall. Witnesses say they saw people in two cars yelling at each other. Then they got out, guns in hand.
We hear gunfire. I peek around. I see the guys coming out of the vehicle that's facing the same direction as us, shooting into the vehicle next to them.
Crystal Schmidt says they got back in their cars and sped through the parking lot while one man was leaning out the window, still shooting. In the melee, a man and a young boy.
I feel like with Durk ain't had no business out there in Atlanta letting these guys loose and doing all them type of crimes, because when he went out there to Atlanta, he supposedly went out there to change and to better his music career. I think that a lot of things that's been going on with the OTF crew, you know, I feel like that's when the feds started watching them, because they had went out there to Atlanta and got buck wild. So yeah, some things that, you know, they're pulling up right now in his case, and he's trying to fight to come home. They're just adding up. They've been watching him for so long. They just adding up all type of different things that Durk had going on, him and the OTF. So, yeah, it's kind of, you know, skeptical about, you know, what they have as far as evidence. They've been doing so much. You know, I believe in, you know what I'm saying, that until proven guilty, you know, I'm not a judge and I'm not a lawyer, but at the same time, we've been seeing this over the years, you know, that even if it wasn't Durk, it was his friends, you know, and they say, you know, when you carry certain type of company, you know, that's what it leads to. Durk should have been more careful because, like I said, he was, you know, a big rap artist, you know, and he was supposed to set by example. He wasn't supposed to allow all of that around him. So when they say the Fed's been investigating him, I could believe that, because people have gotten unalived, people have gotten harmed, all kinds of things have been going on, and these guys haven't been responsible for it, because he was getting professional help for these people that were doing these crimes. You know, they was just out there just wild, like, you know, and, you know, they shouldn't have went to Atlanta like that. That's why when Durk and Von and Zoo had caught that case, that's why they were on them like that, because they came from Chicago. They even had people from the police from Chicago to fly up there to Atlanta to let them know that, hey, these guys was from Chicago and these guys were claiming this game, that game, you know. So, yeah, I don't feel like, you know, it's going to be hard for them to prove who Durk really is and what OTF stands for. That's not good. That's neither here nor there. So, yeah, Durk set himself up for this, you know. And, they shouldn't have been out there like that. I think a child had gotten harmed and a few more people had gotten harmed for that mall incident. And I think Bruno had something to do with it or whatever. And, you know, another thing, them going in and out of jail, it's not no telling what they was telling, you know, the police and the feds from the beginning. You know, somebody probably been talking for all those years, you know, because they were going in and out of jail. It's hard to prove who said what or did what, you know. So this case is kind of, you know, going to be a little bit crazy, you know, because we're sitting up here wondering what's going on and who is the person that's being named the snitch. So, yeah, this is just overwhelming.
From Atlanta. It shows a shootout at a gas station. You can see a man walking out of the store. Another man with a gun in his waistband is following him. Then the man goes to his car and pulls out an AK-style pistol. Moments later, both start firing shots at one another. You can see the bullets hitting the windshield. It's incredible. The suspect runs off as the driver continues firing at him. As the driver's trying to leave, a woman comes out holding her shoulder after she was shot. Her condition not known this morning, but police are still investigating. And so far, believe it or not, no one's been arrested. So, you know, with video this good, I'm sure they'll eventually.
And see, and that's when the Quando Rondo. And see, that's another thing. Durk was out there in Atlanta. And, you know, Quando Rondo is from Savannah. So that kind of edged up things, with this case as well too, because they went out there. Durk, I think they were saying that someone has set up a concert, like someone wanted Quando Rondo to come and do a concert out there in that area, and they said that they stalked him and paid for that concert so that they can unalive him, and they ended up shooting someone in the shoulder and at the gas station. I think Quando Rondo had gotten shot in the foot, I believe, but that was on the account of Durk, allegedly Durk OTF. So guys, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so much stuff that they're trying to put on Durk and OTF, and this is something that we've been seeing over the years, guys. So yeah, I'm just allegedly. So I'm just sitting here like, wow, I never knew that Quando Rondo was attacked at a gas station. We didn't hear anything about that. Well, I didn't. I never seen this one. So yeah, this is something else that just came out in the paperwork as Durk been fighting, for his life up in California for the Lil Pop. So it's been going on, guys. And I mean, I'm not saying that Durk and OTF is the only ones that's been doing such things, because I have seen Quando Rondo and his crew. They've been live with guns and all kinds of things, calling OTF and all of them out as well. It went both ways. I think a lot of that has to do with NBA Youngboy as well, too. I don't know if NBA Youngboy is with Quando Rondo, but I know that a lot of it has something to do with whatever is going on with these two affiliates. I think that is something more bigger than what they're saying. They're saying it's over a female with King Von and Youngboy, but I think it's more to it. So we'll never know. We just have to sit back and wait until the court. And then, like I said, I'm not going to say anyone is guilty of anything because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a judge. But like I said, Durk should have been up in Georgia taking care of business, doing boss moves instead of, all this crime. It's just senseless. It don't make any sense. But allegedly, this is all that they're bringing up in the courts right now. So that's why I wanted to view everything. And I might have missed, it's been so much, I might have missed some different topics. I might have missed a few, but I've got as much as I could think of as far as with Lil Durk and OTF, guys. So yeah, y'all just leave me a comment in the comment area and see if y'all on the same track as me, because I know that, me thinking about all of this going back to where it's been so much. I wrote all of this down. I'm like, dang. I'm like, yeah, OTF been on a mission since they moved up to Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm going to go back to Von, though. Durk was scared of Von. That's just bottom line. Him and the rest of them. They knew what Von was into. They knew what type of animal he was before he got out of jail. Like, they know. Like, this dude is a killing. And they still... They wanted to be around him. Von got the streets. Durk ain't got the streets. Von got the streets. They called him grandson. People thinking he King David grandson. But the whole time it was an old guy who gave him that name, grandson. So he had all the streets. And then he got all the real members behind Von. Like all the real... Durk paying for friends. That's how I look at it. Durk paying for friends, man. All them guys with Durk, they pay. Everybody who Durk had with him, they end up getting back and being back in Chicago, and they saying bad things about him, or they saying that he weak and he this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he buying people. But Von, he ain't have to buy no people, because people really know. Like, if he say he gonna do something to you, he really gonna do it.
Yep, and that's what I heard as far as with Durk, he was buying them guys, and that's why a lot of stuff is going on right now. He was being too real with these guys, you know what I'm saying? He never looked at the fact that after this stuff came down, they was going to put it on him. They didn't owe him no loyalty. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of them guys that's with Durk, they were with D-Thang. See, D-Thang, his older brother, he the one was the muscle man. Durk was just rapping. D-Thang was the one that was doing big things, and they said was doing all type of hits and all of that. Durk didn't never have to do that. It was D-Thang doing it. So at the same time, they feel like they didn't know Durk. They don't owe Durk no loyalty. Durk was just out here just doing all kinds of stuff when D-Thang, was unalived. After D-Thang was unalived, Durk had to pick up the slack. So Durk was moving carelessly. I think, I don't think Durk knew exactly what he was doing and what he was dealing with as far as with these guys. Like, I've seen that, how they was all with him. And then when he was sending them back from Atlanta and back to Chicago. You know, they was talking about him, talking about he was weak. He was this and that and that. You know, he was rapping cap in his music and all kinds of things because that money was slow. That money got slow. He stopped giving these guys money. But one thing when he told them that money he was giving them, don't expect nothing else back. He was wanting them to get something set and keep going on. But they didn't want to do that. That's why they kept trying to tag along with Durk, because Durk was the muscle. D-Thing was no longer there. And as far as with King Von, I felt like King Von should have never been with Durk because they knew what King Von was doing. But that's Durk's fault. Durk knew what King Von was on. King Von was also talking about when he got out of jail, he was going to be robbing all of them guys that was around Durk. I think he robbed all of them guys around Durk. I think that they was trying to say King Von the one that ran in Durk's house and had his house broken into. They had robbed Durk and everything. So, yeah, I think a lot that's going on, you know. Durk realized that this is how they was trying to play him. And then this is why a lot of them guys have been turning on Durk. So a lot of guys is turning on Durk because Durk, like I said, real, being too real. And that's what being too real gets you, right where you at. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody respect nobody like that. People don't know how to be, you know, sincere and, you know what I'm saying, and loyal. You know what I mean? They were just looking at Durk like he was a flunky, like he was a fool. You know what I'm saying? Because who finna keep taking care of some grown men and giving up all their money, and then when stuff gets rough, they all flipping on him. All flipping on him. I don't even get that. But, you know, that's life. You know what I'm saying? That's life. You know, you can show all kinds of love, but when it comes to that money or when that stuff stop, guess what? All that love is gone. Because right now, it ain't nothing you doing for them, so they don't need you no more. So therefore, they going to air out any and everything that they call themselves was doing to you. So, yeah, this is wild.
Of the gunman who shot and killed Stefan Mack in 2022. Prosecutors say Mack was outside the Youth Peace Center of Roseland when he was gunned down. The FBI linked the two men charged with Mack's murder to Durk using texts and confidential informants. The feds believe this murder was revenge for the death of Lil Durk's brother. To be clear, Lil Durk has not been charged in Mack's murder.
Again, guys, and then
see
when this is coming
these guys
from,
left all kinds of evidence and all kinds of
you
things
know, that's
behind
another
to pin them
thing.
to Durk, and then Durk went to the $1 million game worth the game.
He
had them with him,
you know what
so
I'm saying?
like
why
okay,
would he be all the way
but who's
over
to say
there?
Durk was the
In
one
another
to
part
pay
of
them
Chicago,
to do
he
this
know
too?
that area
Y'all
is,
know what I'm saying? Because
you know, a hood over
I've
there
heard
where he
some
was,
of Durk guys be having
all
different
type
people
of
to do these
altercations
things
with
to get
these
money
fellas
out
over
of
here.
Durk, and they know if these
I mean,
things get
everything
done,
just not
they
adding
know
up to
Durk was
me
gonna
because
pay.
these
So
guys were moving
Durk probably
carelessly.
didn't put
And they have to
no
think
hits
like,
on any one of
okay,
them.
my
Them
brother
them
is
guys
a big
just doing
rock
them
hits.
hits.
You know,
And
a
they
rap
knew that
guy
Durk
right
was
now.
gonna,
He's
reward them
making
for
so
it.
many
I mean, that's
millions
just
now.
not saying Durk
Not
said,
only
oh
that,
yeah,
we
if you
also
go on a
have
live
been
this
into it
person,
with
I
these
got
different
20,000.
My
Or
brother
if you go on
been
a live this person,
rapping
I got
about
no.
these
They said them
guys,
guys
and
was over
you know
there
what I'm saying. So
getting
it wasn't
others
no
to put
reason for
hits on them
D-Thing to be
and waiting
over
on Durk to pay
there
them
by
because they know Durk
himself.
would
Because
give them
I still
a
seen that
reward
video,
for it.
and it
So
was saying that
I
he
don't know
was
how
with
they're gonna
somebody,
prove that
but
this
they don't
man
never
has been
show who that somebody
taking
was.
his monies
I mean,
and putting
I'm
hits
not
on it because,
understanding
like I
all of this.
said, Durk.
If my
I don't think
brother
Durk was
or my
doing it. I just
sister
think them
was
guys
a
knew
big
that
time
that's what
rapper,
Durk wanted done,
and I'm
they was
rapping
just
about
taking
all
care of
these
business
hoods
because they was
and
trying to get
all
that
these
money.
gangs and
Who
saying I'm
wouldn't
gonna
try
lay
and go
them
do that?
down and
Who wouldn't
I'm
go
gonna
behind his
pipe them
back
and
and
all of
do
that
these
and
things,
do
but
this
then
and that,
come
and
to him
that's
and
what
tell
I'm
them they
being.
the ones
I
did
go
it?
somewhere
That ain't
or
that's
close
not
to these guys'
a
hoods and
murder
these
for
guys'
hire.
areas,
That's not a murder
and
for
then I
hire.
get
That's on
unalive. Come
them.
on,
They went out there and did that
y'all
because they
gotta
know that
think
if they said,
wisely.
"Oh
Y'all
yeah,
be going
boss, I
places
did
and
that
ain't
for
got no
you. I told
protection,
you
no
I'm gonna
nothing.
handle that.
You know,
You
because
didn't
we
have to
just
do
not too
nothing."
long ago
That
lost
wasn't Durk
Bezu
telling them
from
to
the
go do
same
it. These
thing.
guys
Y'all
went
in
out there
these
and did them
different
on their
areas,
own. So
not watching y'all
I
surroundings and
think his
people just
lawyers will
creeping up on
prove
y'all
that
and
Durk
doing whatever.
didn't,
You know,
just set up
y'all got to
putting
think when
hits
y'all in
on
these
people.
streets, you
I
know,
think them guys
y'all
were
got to
doing that
be
because
on
they know
point.
once they
You
said,
know, y'all can't
I
never get
could vouch for
comfortable
that.
with what's,
They knew
you know,
Durk was
with
gonna
what the things
give up
that's
that
going on
bread.
with y'all. Y'all
But
can't
see,
get
another
comfortable and be
thing
out
with
there
this
like
case
that.
is so tricky
You know,
because
so
Durk
this is
used
just,
to
you know,
have
too much, you
guys
know.
all
They
around
done
him,
did so much
Whoop-a-doo
to where
and
they done ran
what's his
out of, you
name,
know what I'm
Buka
saying?
600,
Look
Buka
like to me
600.
areas
Now,
and
keep in
everything for them
mind,
to be.
y'all, that
They done did too much.
T Grizzly
You
had
know,
a case
so
going on. Keep in mind,
even
T
with the
Grizzly
Vaughn
had that
case, you
case going
know,
on
with
They
his
feel like Durk
manager.
told on Von.
And
That's
y'all
why he was
remember
unalive. You know, that's
Buka
sketchy
600
too.
name was brought up
Because
in
the way
that. So
Von
who's to say he's
was
not working with them?
unalive,
Because y'all
when
know
you look
that
at the video, you
Buka
could tell
600
like it's
been
a setup.
quiet and
That was
been
a
laying
setup, you
low.
know. But we
So
trying to
he
find
probably
out who
be.
did it, who
I
set
mean,
it
y'all
up.
think
Von
about it. Y'all got to
has
think
so many
about the
people on
guys
his
that's been
head.
laying low, that ain't been
Today we don't even
around
know who set him
OTF
up.
or
They said
Durk, that's
Young
been
Boy was
quiet.
out there. Then
Think
they
about it.
saying
Have
that
y'all heard anything
Young
from
Boy
Buka
set it up.
600?
Then Durk went live after
Ain't
Von got
nobody
unalive
heard nothing
playing
from
Back
Buka
in Blood.
600.
So
Think about
who's
it.
to
See, y'all
say? Oh,
sitting
did
up there
they all
saying
work
Zoo, Zoo, Zoo
together? Like
because
what was
Zoo
really
had
going on
just
with
gotten
this
unalived or whatever.
situation,
But
guys? We would
I'm
never
thinking over
know
that.
because
I just don't
it's
think
so
Zoo,
much
you know,
backdooring
would
with
do something like
with
that, would
everything
go and
right
snitch
now.
on
It's
Durk
hard to
because
find.
he
These
was
guys
10
used to be
toes for
close
Durk.
and
I
saying
mean,
they were
for
the
real,
evil
for real.
twins and
All
brothers,
real shit. But
but
then,
they're
you
now
know,
saying Durk
some
has something
people
to do with him being
that said
unalive
they were real and
because of
was
the
there for Durk, they
ferocity
had started turning on him
shooting,
too.
and
So
you know
I
they
don't
said
know
that they
who's to
tried
say,
to
but
rob
I got
him.
my
You
eye
know,
on Buka
so
600,
I
y'all.
don't
Y'all
know.
think
This is
about
just
it.
too much. And then
He
they're
was in
trying to
that T
figure out who the
Grizzly. His
snitch
name was brought
is
up in T
with
Grizzly
Dirk's
case,
new
and then
case.
all of a
So
sudden we ain't
guys,
heard nothing else,
it's
and they
no
let him go and
telling
all of
because
that.
you know a lot of
Come on
people
now,
loved Von.
think
Because
about it.
Von was a real
And
one.
then
You know, a
it was
lot of
something with
people
one of
loved
their
Von.
guns or whatever
So
too.
if Dirk
With
was
one
one
of
of the
them
ones
cases
that did
that
this to
draws right
Von,
back
then
to
hey,
another case in
you better watch
Chicago.
out because there's
So
probably be a
y'all, I'm telling
lot of
y'all,
people
think about
that's
it.
gonna
Buka
turn on you during this
600.
case that
Yeah, but
you
y'all, I'm
have. I
telling
mean,
y'all,
because
get in
they
my
said
comments. We got to
allegedly,
discuss
you know,
this
Dirk been the one
because it's
behind
getting
all of
deep.
this power.
Y'all check this. Y'all check this out. Okay, so this the night when King Von got unalived. And when I watched this video, it just didn't look like, you know, it just looked like it was set up. Because my thing is, why was Quando Rondo and them out there? They left from one club and came to another. You know what I'm saying? So who would tell them that this is where King Von was going to end up? I think this was somewhere King Von stopped after his I don't know, after his premiere, his album premiere or whatever. But like I said, regardless of however it went, it just didn't look right because King Von and his boys got unalived. You know what I'm saying? Got hit, but nobody else. And if y'all could see, Mootwalk was there. I think Duty Low was there. Zoo was there. They even said Caleb B was there. Now, how all this go down and everybody was there, but nobody else got hit but Von? I mean, that's just don't even seem right to me. This is just, yeah, it was a mess. And rest in peace to King Von, man. I know that they say King Von was a demon and this and that, but at the same time, I feel like justice should be served for this because that's just not acceptable. But, you know, they say you live by it, that's how you go, you know. Yeah, King Von was set up. You know what I'm saying? We don't know the reason. We don't know the motive. But yes, he was set up. That seems like a setup to me. So allegedly they're saying that Durk had something to do with it. Then some people said Young Boy. So I don't know because they said Young Boy said that when he caught him and unalived him, he was going to show the real his body. So, and that's what happened. Somebody got a picture of King Von to show the real his body. And that was so disrespectful on all levels, you know. So, yeah, this case, I think it's going to reveal a whole lot of things that was going on. We're going to be sitting and our mouth is going to drop. So it's a lot of things that are going to be said, and it's a lot of things we're going to learn after all of this. You know, like I said, rest in peace to King Von, rest in peace to Zoo. You know, a lot of people was unalive over all of this stuff. Yeah, ever since King Von was unalive, y'all, things went downhill for OTF. I really think that it was a foul play. Nobody's saying nothing yet, but it had to be a foul play. But like I said, you know, we need to just sit back and let the judge and the lawyers handle this. I just feel like all these podcasters, y'all putting out y'all theory. And, you know, I gave my theory, and like I said, allegedly everything. I never said no one was guilty. I never said no one did this. I'm saying allegedly. So, yeah, if we put out allegedly, that's what we need to be doing. But just to say somebody did this, because I really think with this case, a lot of curveballs going to be thrown, man. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be deep. I'm telling y'all. It's stuff finna come out, boy, that stuff finna be, yeah. So I'm just ready. I'm just sitting back ready, and I'm ready to get these reports to y'all because I'm new at this, but I'm learning. Y'all see, I'm getting on to it. I'm learning. But I need y'all to get up in the comments area and please talk to me. Let's just debate about all of this. And I'm telling y'all, I'm giving y'all clues of who ain't been around and who ain't been saying nothing. These was Durk's right-hand mans. And that Buka 600, my eye looking real crazy that way. Because like I said, he was in that T Grizzly case. What happened to it? What happened with him about it? We ain't heard nothing else. He quiet, y'all. He quiet. I think he done got married and everything, y'all. I'm telling y'all, Buka 600, don't tell. I'm telling y'all, don't say no when it come out later, because y'all gonna come right back over here and say,
they wind up
said
stopping
that?
over at Santa Monica and San Vicente, right in the very heart of West Hollywood. You know, over there by the sheriff's station, also by the West Hollywood Park. They pull over there because the wounds to the man who was hit inside the Escalade too severe. He's bleeding. They pull over. 911 is called. Paramedics rush in. They take the injured man who's hit by gunfire to the ER. He does not make it, does not survive. So that area now in West Hollywood, also very busy, as you can imagine, on a Friday night, late summer. That is all tied up as a part of this investigation, a deadly shooting investigation. Then you have the second location here at the gas station where bullets fly. Investigators say the manhunt is on now. The manhunt on for these three gunmen who, as one witness said, turned into hitmen, almost execution style. Listen to the...
Yep, this is where they said that Durk put out that murder for hire, guys, and that's what we're talking about now. And the guys that went with him, they're saying that they're turning. But Vonnie, OTF Vonnie, the only motive I feel like Durk lawyer should be saying is like OTF Vonnie, the only would be the only motive of why he would want to go and do this to Quando Rondo and them, because like I said, they've been into it for a while. But the only one I feel like that would really want to, because Vonnie, OTF Vonnie trying to prove a point, because allegedly he stole it from Von, all of his money, stole the cars, the rig trucks he had. They said the rig trucks was supposed to be for Louis. Von went on a talk show and said that those rig trucks was Louis and all kinds of things. Do you know when Von was unalive, nobody stepped up, nobody did nothing for Louis, and it was just so surprising when Louis had passed away. Louis had passed away all of a sudden. Like everything was just really crazy after Von was unalive. So yeah, I think it was some foul play. They didn't rob Von. Even O Block, they said a lot of O Block guys went in there, took his shoes, coat, wearing his, and they said the shoes was maybe too little. They still was wearing this stuff. They said they was walking around looking like Von, O Block people. And then they said Caleb B went in there as well and stole the hard drive, gave it to Durk, and all kinds of stuff has been going on. So guys, y'all get in my comment area and we need to discuss this. And I am your Chi-Town's hope. Guys, I'm new at this, but I'm getting better. Just bear with me, y'all. Get it together. But yeah, we need to discuss this. Please like it, subscribe my channel, and please, comment. I really would appreciate it. And yes, guys, so this is the whole deal of why Durk is up in jail right now. Allegedly, he put a man for hire. He hired these people, so that's what they're trying to say. That's when went on with Durk, and he has other cases like with FBG Cash. They're saying now that Durk allegedly supposed to have something to do with that. So it's so much stuff right now that people trying to put on Durk, that he's behind bars or whatever. A lot of things is coming out. So Durk got a fight on his hand, guys. He got a fight on his hands, but y'all could pretty much put together who is snitching. Like I said, y'all heard who I got my eye on. I say OTF Jam and Bunny as well, because you know what I'm saying, what they got to lose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, y'all, my boy Durk, he got some ways to go with trying to defend himself and save his life, guys. Like I said, rest in peace to Zoo, rest in peace to Von, guys, and much love, to everybody that's involved, Also, rest in peace to Doug, guys. We lost a lot of people. FBG Cash, rest in peace. A lot of people lost their lives from all of this nonsense. So, yes, guys, get in my comment area and let's talk. Let's talk.